And we are live.
Good morning. How
Good
are
morning.
you?
I'm doing great.
Good. We love to hear feeling great, doing great.
Yes, we want to welcome you all out to another episode of Menopause Enough Already,
Menopause Enough Already.
where we are super excited to be finishing up our final episode on the symptom series.
Yeah, we've been talking about a lot of symptoms, but for those that might be new, my name is Courtney.
And I am Heather.
And we're the Mac Sisters. And our Menopause Enough Already podcast, we like to talk about real women, real conversations, real life. We're not, sometimes we keep it too real.
Right.
But this is a safe space. We want to talk about the things that maybe you're thinking, but think no one else is going through.
Or just feel like you don't know who to talk to about it.
Right.
So we're going to talk about the things and help you to feel more comfortable with your midlife journey.
Absolutely. But before we get started, Heather, take it away.
Well, we are coming to you from Varsity Park Studios at Varsity Park Franklin, Roanoke's newest innovative storage and business center. Check them out on Facebook or at varsityparkfranklin.com. We thank them so much for letting us take some time in the podcast studio to record our thoughts and our feelings and our ups and our downs and to share them with you.
Yeah, all the things. So, as Heather said, we are concluding our symptom series that we've been doing, and so we're going to talk today about trouble sleeping. That seems to be a huge one as we're going through perimenopause and menopause, and joint pain. So, first, let's focus on the trouble sleeping. Mm-hmm. Heather and I talked in our last podcast about, sleeping, if you have other people in your home that are sleeping around you, sometimes you have zero control over what's sleeping. Pets, kids, spouses, significant others, whatever, like neighbors, I don't know, just whatever you might have going on. So a lot of times you might feel like our sleep is precious. We know that we want our 8 hours. Like, that's me. I want my 8 hours. I want my body to reset and rejuvenate and all the things while I'm sleeping. So if you're cutting me short, I'm not going to be happy about it.
You just saying 8 hours, I relaxed. Just thinking 8 hours of sleep. I mean, I closed my eyes, I smiled. Like, just knowing you could get 8 hours of sleep would be is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. So, we know as we're going into perimenopause, our hormones change. We're not new to that. That's not new information. But with hormone fluctuations comes sleep disruption. Whether that can look so many different ways. So sleep disruption, that could be waking up multiple times a night. It could be insomnia. It could be hot flashes that make you wake up, temperature. It could be the inability to fall asleep. It could be the inability to calm your brain down. I mean, the list goes on and on.
But it usually is like a cortisol explosion in your body, which makes your brain wake up, and then you start thinking of all these irrational things in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So
that's a little disruption.
I call that detective brain. That's what I feel like. So, like, if I wake up, let's say 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning, instantly my brain is thinking to something I might be like a stressor, like, it's usually one of my kids, like something they're going through. And, how can I help? And that might be because of this and this. And my detective brain just starts going crazy.
Well, and it seems to be things I think of in the middle of the night that during the day, my brain's like, oh, yeah, I'll take care of that. Like, it's not a big deal.
But at 3 a.m.
It is like the most serious thing. And of course, it's going to be something that you can't figure out until the next day anyway. So I don't even know why we're thinking about it.
So a couple of weeks ago, I woke up and I'm thinking about thinning hair. And my hair is thinning and thinning hair. And it was like obsessive detective brain. And I'm running through, I'm literally laying there, all of the things I can do for hair strength and collagen. And am I taking collagen? And am I doing this? And am I doing this? And blah, 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 blah. And in that moment, I thought I was like the smartest person alive. And I am thinking about all these things. And, oh, yeah, that's good, Courtney. And blah, 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 blah. How freaking crazy.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's like when you're borderline dreaming, but you're awake.
Right.
And then, but if you wake up fully, you don't totally remember everything, but you know that you were surrounded by coyotes and you were growling back at them. Just saying, not that that has ever happened.
Lie.
But yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what we want to talk about, because so many women going into perimenopause, the hormone fluctuations, the drop in estrogen, that affects our body temperature regulation. So that's why a lot of women struggle with night sweats or hot flashes or things during the night. Also, our progesterone is changing. So our progesterone is that calmness, our calming effect over our bodies. So we might be able to fall asleep, but we have a hard time staying asleep. And the progesterone is what is helping our cortisol levels. Well, naturally, when we're sleeping, usually between like the 2:30, 4 o'clock hour, there is a natural cortisol increase that happens while we're sleeping. But because we're not producing the correct amounts of hormones, that cortisol spike wakes us up. And then our brains, detective brain, are kind of going, and that's why our brains kick on. We don't have the combative hormone levels to keep ourselves asleep and not feel the effects of that we didn't feel and didn't even know happened in our 20s and 30s.
Right. And when that happened, I mean, that's a natural thing that happens. You know, that's what wakes you up in the morning. So that's also what keeps you in your healthy circadian rhythm. You know, when you go to sleep, you produce the melatonin, and then when you, sorry. My hormones in my brain just got a little mixed up. But yeah, you produce the melatonin, which makes you fall asleep.
Yep.
And is it serotonin also? Yes, the serotonin that makes you fall asleep. People take melatonin. Anyway.
But yeah, their hormone we have hormone disruption.
Yes.
So those natural processes aren't really...
And brain disruption. Just saying that right now. And you know what? We're not going to edit that out because it's real life.
It's real.
It's who we are.
Yep.
And
real life, real talk.
Or it's not who we are, but it's our experiences and the things that our body does.
We are redefining who we are.
Yes.
So I'm having trouble sleeping. What are some things that I can do? First and foremost, check out your sleep hygiene.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. What is your evening building up to bedtime? What does it look like? We're not, drinking a Diet Coke, eating spicy, fatty foods.
A lot of sweets.
Yeah, sugars.
Which can stimulate.
We don't want to do those things. We want to make sure that we're naturally calming ourselves. We're reducing screens, reducing blue light. Check your caffeine intake. Reduce that way early on in the day. Limit your caffeine intake if you're having trouble sleeping, staying asleep. Try not to have deep, heavy thought conversations before going to bed because, like we just said, your brain kind of takes off. And as women, we're the solvers. We're the problem solution. We're all the things. So our brains naturally kind of kick on and start going crazy. try to just, and sometimes I know, not possible. Yeah,
Right.
Courtney, thank you for telling me all those things. My evening is crazy, not possible. Okay, well, let's do the best we can. We can control our caffeine intake. We can control our screens.
Well, and not just that. So I was sitting here kind of smiling to myself too, because, they also say don't eat 3 hours before you go to bed. Well, I go to bed like
Too early.
before it gets dark now. No, just kidding. That will be true later in the year. But no,
Laura Ingalls Wilder.
I, 7:30, I'm in the bed. Courtney's laughing so hard, nothing is coming out.
That is so.
But-
I'm like eating dinner at 7.
Well, and that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Last night, we were eating dinner. I guess it was 6:30, and then it was like, okay, shower, get in the bed. And I was eyes closed at 7:30.
Oh my gosh.
But
Oh my gosh.
so yes, there's some things you cannot control.
Right.
But what I was thinking is that if, like you said, you can control your screens and your light. And, if you are somebody that goes to sleep watching something on your phone or your TV or whatever, you can still wear the blue light glasses. And that does help. And something else I was thinking too was maybe you can take a few minutes, even if it's 5 minutes, to do just like a simple calming brain meditation.
Yeah.
Just kind of a clearing. And so, because not everybody has a whole lot of time to do a whole lot of stuff, like their sleep hygiene stuff, especially if you're trying to squeeze in a show after dinner before you go to sleep and you go to bed early.
Right. No, I get it. It's life.
It is life.
We can only do the best we can, and we can only control the things we can control. And so a lot of that is very little.
Exactly.
We've talked about this. Our life is not our own, but there are things we can do. Hey, we're going to go on back to, what did you eat? Are there things we can eat? Magnesium-rich foods. Magnesium is a great supplement that can help us sleep good. And there are foods that are rich in magnesium. So some examples of that would be like bananas. Bananas are great. Almonds, cashews, and the list goes on and on. Excuse me. Ooh. But if you are kind of leery about taking a supplement, some people are, look up magnesium-rich foods. Those were just 3 little examples. But you can find good magnesium to take. I take magnesium every night before I go to bed. Especially it helps you calm down. And I find a trusted brand and look up how much magnesium you should take for your age. It's probably more than you think it is. It would be surprising, but magnesium is found in foods, and there are reliable supplements if you're good with taking a magnesium supplement. Heather, is there anything else that we can do for like natural things for sleeping?
Yeah, there's actually, you can do like a chamomile, chamomile herbal tea, kava herbal tea. Those are 2 of my favorites to use. But I know you had mentioned something before when we were talking about magnolia.
Yes, I
What
think that
does
helps
that
calm
do?
the
nervous system?
Yeah, the nervous system, like the parasympathetic, it kind of resets that.
Because that is really interesting, because I just think of trees and,
I'm going to go back to where I was researching that.
Okay. But, even if you have a warm herbal tea at night before you go to bed, warm herbal tea will help calm and your system. So it's not like a shock to the system. You're not drinking a cold drink or cold water or something like that before you go to bed. But anything that just kind of gets in your system, kava, chamomile, I can't think of one of the other ones that helps. But anyway, it kind of gives you that nice, relaxing feeling, and it helps you go to sleep.
Okay. So let me talk about the magnolia real
Yeah.
quick, and then we can move on. So it's like the magnolia bark,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be in a tea form. Again, another tea. And it is like many forms of traditional medicine use this because it is a natural, like relaxer and stress reducer. So they were talking about in here, this was from the Health Line, and they talk about not only does it improve sleep, but it helps like with anxiety and stress, those things that we deal with during perimenopause, more stress, more anxiety. It is and has blah, 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 blah,
Right.
antioxidant properties, also anti-cancer properties. And it says that you can do it in a supplement form, or you can do that in like a tea form.
So that's really good for like the antioxidant, because then that is not only helping to calm the nervous system, but then it's also helping to clean out the body,
Yep.
which, getting rid of those free radicals and stuff that we do while we're sleeping. So of course we need to sleep,
Yeah.
because of that. So
Yeah. So those are some things that we can do that can help with sleeping. What about our daily routine?
as far as number one, I'm going to say, and I'm not going to say walk, but I am going to say move and do things.
Yeah.
Have you ever experienced like, oh, I had the worst night's sleep? Well, what'd you do the day before? Well, I laid on the couch and I watched, I caught up on all my Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
When your body doesn't move, doesn't have, and I'm talking do laundry, clean up a room in the house.
Right.
Just moving, go to the store, just do
It's
normal
neat,
stuff.
Non-exercise activity
Yes.
through your day. Like we're not talking, okay, I'm going to exercise. It's just being active
Just
through the day.
doing your
things.
stuff.
Yeah.
Stay active. Go to lunch with friends. Go, have things that you are doing. Go change your sheets.
Yeah. Do something.
Change your sheets. Clean out from under your bed. Clean out a closet. Do something. Those are going to be the days that the days that you don't do anything, you're going to have worse night's sleep.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And we can always walk. We try aiming for those steps in a day, 8 to 10,000 steps in a day, like minimum.
Also, I will say too, when you do exercise, just don't do it right before you go to bed.
Right.
Because then that stimulates you, gets the blood pumping. And I would just say don't do that right before you go to bed. And if you want to get, your last few steps in, up and down your hallway, around your living room, whatever, you can get those done because you're not moving it, really fast. You're just kind of getting them in.
Right.
So,
just kind of talking about the trouble sleeping, it's normal, and that is a symptom that a high percentage of women report having issues sleeping going into perimenopause, menopause, whether it's body temperature, brain, insomnia, not even being able to fall asleep. Try to handle the stress through your day. Try to limit caffeine. Try to limit nicotine. They talk about nicotine being a sleep disruptor. So being aware of the things that you're doing. Sleep is super critical. It is when your body resets.
yes.
And so if you're not getting your sleep in, it is affecting everything that's going on in your body, your mental clarity. And that is a hormone disruptor, not getting enough sleep. So make sure you're shooting for 8 hours. Like if that means you got to go to bed earlier, so be it, if you can. Okay, not Heather, because then she's going to bed like
At lunchtime.
like way too early. But just make some improvements, and you'll feel better across the board. So, symptom number 2 that we're going to talk about today is joint pain. Joint pain is another huge symptom that women talk about. If you have been a regular listener, you know that Heather had a huge issue with joint pain, frozen shoulder. That's a very common one that women talk about.
You know, and I want to say it's a common one that that women talk about, but it's still not associated with perimenopause.
Isn't that crazy?
Well, because number one, when I was going through that, I was probably 45 to 47 years old, and I had no idea what perimenopause symptoms were, except for what? Hot flashes,
Right.
night sweats, and the whole irregular period. So it wasn't even on my radar. And what I was actually thinking about this morning was, if you do have joint pain and you're in the early stages of perimenopause, just kind of question, hey, maybe I should get my hormone levels checked. You know, is there anything else that's going on that I'm unaware of? Kind of
Right.
do a self-check.
Yeah, that baseline.
Yes.
What's my baseline?
Yes.
Where am I? Just being aware of it.
Because, you know, you could be like, oh, okay, and like I did, and end up at the doctor, orthopedic, getting MRIs, all of that for no reason.
Right.
No reason whatsoever. But then there were so like Courtney, you have joint pain. You know, some of it is like, it's just wear and tear. You know, you're getting old, your knees hurt, whatever.
Right. But there are things like, for me, I had a knee that was bothering me. I ended up with a knee injury and went through all the things, and it wasn't getting better. Why isn't this getting better? Well, I didn't know. I was going through perimenopause and my estrogen levels were dropping. So not only did you have an injury, now you don't really have like estrogen and testosterone to help it heal. So the inflammation is staying through the roof because you don't have enough hormones to help the body function and get rid of the inflammation and heal like it should.
Right.
So it drug on and it continued to deteriorate, and now it's horrible. No, it did not have the support it needed in the joints, because we know estrogen, ladies, if you didn't know this, estrogen is the joint
Lubricator, anti-inflammatory.
Yes. All the soft tissue in your body needs estrogen.
Yes.
Which is like your whole body.
Right.
Yeah,
Your majority soft tissue.
Yeah, soft tissue. And soft tissue dries out and deteriorates without estrogen.
Because
so your whole body,
we get ashy.
Your whole body.
Right.
Like everything is soft tissue. So we lose estrogen. Okay, all of that to say, joint pain is, and it could be anywhere, back, hips, shoulders,
Fingers, wrists, neck.
everywhere.
Knees,
every
feet.
bone has estrogen in that joint. So it is a huge indicator of perimenopause.
It is. And you go to the doctor and they're going to say, oh, you probably have arthritis.
My ortho said, well, you're not in your
Yes.
20s anymore.
Exactly.
Rather than, hey, you're 40.
You're not in your 20s anymore. So
Right. Hey, you're 41. Go get your blood panel done. Go check. Check your hormone levels. We could be, estrogen could be declining. That should be like a basic. That
Right.
should be like,
But we've talked
hey,
about this before.
disconnect.
Disconnect from, medical and anything perimenopause, menopause.
Yes. So with that being said, we talked about the inflammation. Inflammation stays up because we don't have the estrogen and testosterone that we need to help our body get rid of the inflammation. What are some things we can do? Anti-inflammatory foods. Now, there are a ton.
A whole
actually,
bunch.
a ton of anti-inflammatory foods. So I have a little.
If you want to go hardcore for anti-inflammatory, just try carnivore for 30 days.
Okay, carnivore is what?
Carnivore is pretty much anything meat, animal-based that's not processed. So steak, eggs, chicken, fish. There's different types of carnivore out there, meaning some people eat cheese.
Okay.
Some people have cottage cheese. Some people will eat avocado. And I'm not sure how that's an animal, but they will. Just it's a very healthy fat. And so the whole premise of carnivore is to eat pretty much 70% of your calories, 75% of your calories come from a healthy fat. So if you're not eating carbs, you need to eat fat. But anyway, meats are so anti-inflammatory, so they don't have inflammatory properties. So if you're eating the animal products like that, then it gives your body time to just reset.
Yeah.
And just the reason I started it was because I was having a little joint pain. I was like, oh, okay, arthritis is flaring up in my hands and my back was aching a little bit. And so I just thought, okay, 30 days.
Yeah.
I want to just get some inflammation gone. Well, I felt so good. I just stayed, stuck with it because I feel better. The pain in my hands, my fingers are gone. And so just that's if you want to go hardcore.
Yeah.
So
Heather's found success through that. I haven't done carnivore. I haven't tried that. What helped me was single ingredient foods, getting away from the processed foods. Processed foods, whether like it be lunch meat or, even like Greek yogurt, that's a good thing, but it's a processed food.
It's been processed so many times.
So just like if you are feeling a lot of inflammation, joint pain specifically, try the single ingredient foods. Omega-3s are huge. That's a really, really good anti-inflammatory. Also, like turmeric. That's you can include turmeric into your foods. Berries are an antioxidant, anti-inflammatory food. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, flaxseed. Flaxseed's a natural anti-inflammatory food that, it just, if you're struggling with inflammation and it really is part of the perimenopause, our body can't produce what it needs to get rid of the inflammation. So we can do things through our foods to help us. Anti-inflammatory foods, there's a ton of them, and you can easily incorporate those foods into what you're doing. Or, like we said, eliminate processed foods, sugars, foods. See how you feel. See if that helps.
And that's an easy way to start. Easy way to start. Just cut out your simple sugars and cut out your carbs that are not serving you.
Yeah. So your body will have natural responses to natural foods, and be aware. We've said this a million times. You got to be your own detective, your own Sherlock Holmes. I ate this. How do I feel? I'm doing this. How do I feel? I got my steps in. How do I feel? You have to really take that inventory because everybody is different. Everyone responds differently to things,
And you have to give it a little bit of time, just like with, sometimes I do try and add some foods back into my meals, just like I will add blueberries. So I tried blueberries. Blueberries are great. I don't eat them every day, but I eat them whenever I want.
Right.
And I know that they do fine. I tried green beans. Within an hour, it gave me an upset stomach. Okay. So I was like, okay, I don't want to do that. But sometimes it will take until the next morning. You'll see results the next day from eating a food or not eating a food. So don't just assume you're going to tell a huge difference immediately.
Right. That's why we're saying, give yourself some time, like 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to add, like, joint pain is not the only indicator of inflammation. Hot flashes and night sweats, those are also an indicator of inflammation. Your body not being able to regulate body temperature, that's an inflammatory response, is a night flash. Our bodies are amazing. They are fine-tuned machines, and when something gets a little out of whack, don't have enough oil over here, don't have enough something over here, your body has all kinds of mechanisms and systems to let you know. The problem that we have in our society, or like for me personally, I dismiss a ton of stuff. Man, that hip hurts today. That's crazy.
That's crazy. I must have slept wrong.
Yeah, and we move on.
And you think of like a nice vehicle. If you have a nice vehicle that you're supposed to put premium gas in and you don't, it's not going to function right.
No.
Or even if you have a regular vehicle, and I say regular meaning it takes, regular gas.
Right.
Or 87 gas. And then all of a sudden you've got this check engine light that comes on, but you don't pay attention to it.
Right. I'm going to ignore that.
Right.
That was your red flag.
Yes.
That was your little indicator something's out of whack. So let's find out what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Vitamin D, get your vitamin D. If you're not getting outside a lot, take vitamin D. A good, trusted brand. Vitamin D helps with inflammation. So in this journey of perimenopause, menopause, we have to be aware. We've said a million times, get our baseline of our blood work. If you're dealing with joint pain, don't dismiss it that, it's something else, or, I'm just getting old. I slept wrong, or I must be tired, or I must be this. Kind of track it, especially if it's a consistent problem. Oh, man, why is this bothering me? And I'm going to say there are things that we can do activity-wise.
Right.
First and foremost, love your body. Love your body. Appreciate your body. Appreciate your blessings and things that you have been given. You've been given life. You've been given this opportunity, however the framework is mentally. But if, let's say your back is hurting, we don't have to go and work out the hardest we've ever worked out because we go, man, I just need to strengthen it. So if you're having some of these aches and pains, we're walking. We're walking, trying to process inflammation. We're moving, non-exercise activity, but maybe you do some yoga and Pilates instead of sprints or a HIIT class.
And when you were talking about loving yourself, loving your body, actually speak to your body.
Right.
Give it words of affirmation, because just your body feels the love.
Yeah.
And so it will react more positively than hating on it and, saying how much it bothers you, or that you don't like it, or that it doesn't serve you.
No, and we don't need to be hard on ourselves mentally or physically.
No.
Because our body's changing or things are changing in our life, we don't have to go and work out harder or diet harder or this or that. We become super sensitive to stress as we are moving into perimenopause. We need to change how we're doing things. More loving, more caring. So more walking, less HIIT classes, more very isolated, specific strength training instead of like Fusion 1000 through the roof.
And maybe we need to stretch a little more than we did when we were younger.
More Pilates, more yoga,
yes.
more care, more love, more attention less crap.
Right. Exactly.
You know, I mean, like, seriously, less fillers, less processed things, more nature, more sunlight, like all of those natural things, single ingredient foods, getting back to basics. We have become a society so infiltrated with processed and more and 1,000 and like more. More's not always better.
Mm-hmm. Or a pill for everything.
Right.
And I don't want to say that that's not always an answer, but it always helps if we're doing some natural things.
Yeah. So as we're concluding this symptom series, go back, listen to, take notes. Like, if this is really speaking to you, if this is where you are in this midlife journey where you are handling or trying to deal with symptoms, or is this a symptom, or what do I need to do? Remember, there are always foods you can eat, non-exercise movements. There are always mental things that we can do to help improve and manage symptoms, maybe not relieve them where they're totally gone, but just some type of management for them. So today we touched upon trouble sleeping and things that we can do, foods we can eat, supplements we can take, and also
Joint pain.
Our joint pain. That usually comes from inflammation, and joint pain is not always the only indicator of inflammation. So we hope that this series was helpful to you, and that maybe if there's even one of you out there that was like, yes, that's the information that I have been looking for. Like, tell me what to do. Tell me what to eat. Tell me what to take. That's kind of where we were in this series, being very specific with our message in these podcasts.
Yeah, because we did get some feedback about, okay, I have the symptoms and you've given me, some other things I can do, but specifically, what can I do for this symptom? So we wanted to get that out to you. So if there is anything else that you guys would like us to talk about, or if you would like to share your story, please send us an email at menoughnoughalready@gmail.com, or message us on our social medias, which we are still Menopause Enough Already on TikTok.
Yes.
But our Instagram and Facebook is now Redefining Midlife.
Yes.
Because we are certified menopause life coaches.
Yes.
Yay. So that's something else that we are going to be offering for you ladies, for the listeners. Any guidance and things that you feel like that you would need redefining your midlife, and so that we can help you give you ways of ways you can go about redefining yourself and who you want to be.
Yeah. So we will be giving more information on that. And we feel if we can help one female as she navigates this perimenopause, menopause journey, and whatever that looks like for her, because it is different for everybody. If we can help one person, then that's what we want to do, because we both had our own struggles, different struggles, but struggles nonetheless. And it doesn't have to be like that.
Right. And we felt like if we had more education on this, then we would have done things differently.
Yes.
Going through the process, and maybe we would have been able to alleviate some of the symptoms, and maybe, completely.
Yeah, not even have to deal with them. So redefining midlife, we want to be your midlife mentors if that's something you'd be interested in. And that can be a variety of things. That can be, career changes. What's your purpose after kids leave? It can be nutrition. It can be fitness. So there's many directions that we can take the mentor journey. But for today, we are super grateful that you have tuned in and joined us today and maybe through all of our symptom series. But we hope this has been helpful, and we just appreciate you. Let us hear from you if there's something a topic you'd like discussed or information. And yeah, we're just grateful for this opportunity that we have.
Yeah, and we will see you guys next time.
See you later.